Hello gamers, welcome to another Battle Report from the Dragon's Den Gaming Group. This game is a special battle where my Orcs and Goblins invade the Wood Elves on one of the borders of Athel Loren. You can see from the pictures that there's a lot of trees and terrain. Since I'm invading the forces of the Wood Elves, they will get first turn. So let's get straight to the action. Wood Elves, turn number 1, and everything in the movement phase moves up, except for the Glade Guard, they stay put. In the magic phase, it's 8 dice to 8 dice. The Orcs and Goblins manage to channel 2 Dispel dice. The Wood Elves try to cast Throne of Vines, which the Orcs dispel. They then attempt Flesh of Stone, which is cast irresistibly. They got the miscast result of 5 on the chart, so the small round template goes over top of the wizard. They end up taking 6 wounds off the Glade Guard and 1 wound on the Spell Weaver. On to the shooting phase. The Glade Guard shoot at the Goblin Big Boss on the Spider in the Orc unit with 6 hits, but only scoring 1 wound after saves. Okay, Orcs and Goblins turn 1, and basically everything moves up. The Night Goblin unit gets into range of the Dryads there, and it releases their Fanatics. 2 of them go all the way through the Dryads, and 2 of them go through the Tree Man as well. I just rolled poorly for the wounds though. I think I only did 2 wounds to the Dryads, and 1 wound onto the Tree Man. In the Magic phase, I generated 5 Power Dice to their 3 Dispel Dice. I attempted an Headbutt, and I cast it on Irresistible onto his spellcaster. So I didn't do any wounds to his spellcaster after the spell resolution, and the miscast was a 6, so I got the exact same result as what the Spell Weaver got the previous turn, and I killed 4 orcs underneath the template with no wounds on the caster. In the shooting phase, the Rock Lubber targeted the Glade Guard and killed 3 of them. The second Rock Lubber got a direct hit on the Tree Man, but failed to wound. Damn ones. On to turn 2 for the Wood Elves, and the Green Tree Man charges the Night Goblins. The Dryads charge the Giant. The Treekin charge the Spider Riders, who elect to flee from that charge, and that's more of a bait than anything else. And there's a suicide charge from the Dryads onto the Mangler Squid, who just blows up and does 10 wounds to the Dryads there, so there's only 2 left after the explosion. In the Magic phase, the Wood Elf player generated 5 Power Dice against my 3 Dispel Dice. He tried to cast Throne of Vines. I irresistibly dispelled it. In hindsight, that was probably the wrong choice on my part, because he got Flush of Stone off onto his War Dancers. So now they're toughness 5, and they're going to be a bitch to deal with. Just plain simple. In the shooting phase, the Tree Man moved up and uprooted onto the Orc unit, and he got 10 hits and did 7 wounds on the poor bastard, so that was a great shot by the Tree Man. The Glade Guard shoot into the Orcs, and they do a further 7 hits and another 3 wounds, so not a great round for the Orcs there on that one. Moving on to the close combat, Dryads versus the Giant. The Giant ends up losing by 1, but the Giant holds thanks to his stubborn ability. The Tree Man versus the Night Goblins. The Tree Man loses by 1, but ends up holding. So we're going to be locked in that combat for a while, and you'll see that later in the report. This turns into an epic battle between the 2. And on to turn number 2 for the Orcs and Goblins. Turn number 2 for the Orcs and Goblins, and it's just pure disaster. Okay, first of all, the Pump Wagon charges the Dryads. Alright, good enough. The Orcs charge the War Dancers. Now, mind you, they have toughness 5, but I figure I got lots of guys in there, I'll be okay. Right. The Trolls charge the last 2 Dryads that did the suicide charge onto the Mangler, so that's an easy one. The Trolls just mop that up right there. Okay, here comes to the Magic phase. Now, I had a plan coming to this game that I wanted to try out the Forbidden Rod. That's the one where you gain plus d6 power dice to that caster, but then you could suffer 3 wounds. Okay, so I roll for my power dice. I get 4 to my opponent's 3 dispel dice. I figure, okay, this is a great turn to do this because I got lots of units locked in close combat. I rolled pretty low for the Winds of Magic. It's time to activate the Forbidden Rod. So I activate the Forbidden Rod. I gain 5 dice, which is sweet. On the roll to see how many wounds I get, I take 2 wounds. Alright, so I have 1 wound left on my Orc Great Shaman. Alright, so he's still alive. No problem there. So I have these extra power dice set aside just for the Orc Great Shaman. So my other power dice from the Winds of Magic, I use, I think it was 2 or 3 dice for my level 1 Night Goblin Shaman. And what does he get? Irresistible Force on Sneaky Stabbing. I roll in the chart and I get the result of 8. So all spellcasters get hit with a Strength 6 hit. Guess who dies? The level 4. Oh man. I had such a great plan there how to get some cheap power dice for my phase and just blew up right in my face. Just catastrophic failure. So, on to the shooting phase. I have one rock lobber who he actually hits a direct hit on one of the tree men and does 2 wounds to him. But then my other rock lobber tries to fire and misfires and blows up. So things aren't going good here this turn already. In close combat, the pump wagon and the giant versus the dryads. We exchange back and forth, and the dryads end up finally dying, and I mop that up there. The orc battle against the war dancers. Remember the ones with their toughness 5? Yeah, that didn't go so well. They killing blowed my battle standard bear, the gobble and the spider there, and they just beat the living crap out of me. I ended up breaking, and I luckily got away, but that was just horrible. I don't know what else to say about that. I just got my butt kicked. And I guess we're going to go on to the Wood Elves turn number 3 here. Turn 3, Wood Elves. The War Dancers charge the fleeing Orcs, who can only flee again. The Tree Men and the Tree Gang combo charge into the Troll unit with the Orc General. The Glade Guard move up to get in position to shoot the Giant. In the Magic phase, they generate 8 power dice to my 6. They cast Throne of Vines again, and I don't know, I keep dispelling this particular spell with Irresistible, but he's getting off the Flush of Stone, so he got the Flush of Stone off onto his Treekin, so now they're even tougher, like they're toughness 7 now, so I just can't wound these guys. And then he, with his remaining power dice, he got regrowth on his Tree Man, so his Tree Man's back up to full wounds again. In the shooting phase, the Glade Guard take down the Giant, and he just topples over the ground in a heap of muscle and blood. In close combat, the Tree Man versus the Night Goblin unit there, we end up losing by 3, but we hold thanks to Steadfast. In the combat with the Treekin and the Tree Man versus the Troll and the General, I lost by 6, but thank God for the Crown of Command. And that item actually paid off big time in this game, which you'll see later on. Anyways, on to Orcs and Goblins, turn number, I believe it's 3. Orcs and Goblins, turn 3. The Orcs do not rally, and they fled the board, so the War Dancers definitely had their day. The Pump Wagon faces the remaining Tree Man, who is fighting over against the Night Goblins. In the Magic phase, the Orcs generate 6 power dice to the Wood Elves 4 dispel dice. I got off Sneaky Stabbing, which was failed to dispel, so I got 1 spell off with level 1, which ain't too shabby. In the shooting phase, another misfire. Rock Lobber misfires, and it can't shoot this turn or the next, so it's going to be out of commission because those War Dancers are going to be in prime situation just to get them, right? So, in close combat, the Tree Man versus the Night Goblins. The Night Goblins put 2 wounds on the Tree Man, but the darn guy just holds thanks to Stubborn. In the combat with the Tree Man, Treekin versus the Trolls and my General, Again, we lose by 5, but again we hold thanks to the Crown of Command. Okay, Wood Elves turn number 4. Well, the War Dancer's charges the Raw Clobber. The Spellweaver actually moves out of his Glade Guard unit towards the Troll combat there, and I imagine he's just trying to get into range to for more of his spells. In the magic phase, they generate 5 power dice to my 3 dispel dice. They get Flesh of Stone off in the tree cannon, and I fail to dispel it, so that combat is just going rough for me there. I'm just slowly losing more and more trolls, so it doesn't look good. In the shooting phase, the Glade Guards shoot the pump wagon. The pump wagon is exploded just through sheer arrow fire. In close combat, the War Dancers make short work of the Raw Clobber. In the combat with the Tree Man versus the Night Goblins ended up losing combat by 1, and they actually break and are run down. That whole block there just toast. It's like, that hurt. I really wanted them to hold and take that Tree Man down, but nope, Tree Man was too tough for him this day. And then the big combat there with the Tree Man versus the Trolls and the Orc General. The Tree Can win combat by 6, so I'm pretty beat up now. The Trolls actually held again, though, thanks to the Crown of Command. And off to Orcs and Goblins turn number 4. Orcs and Goblins turn number 4. I don't really have any movement. I got 1 Fanatic rolling around on the table edge on the far side. Everything else is dead. I don't have magic. All my spellcasters are dead. All my shooting's gone. All I got left is my Orc General and 3 Trolls. So let's just move on to close combat. In the close combat, I get my butt kicked again, and I lose by 6. But I hold again, thanks to the Crown of Command. Wood Elves turn number 5. The War Dancers march towards the last combat. The far Tree Man does the same. The Glade Guard turn to face the last combat. That's really all they had left to do. In the magic phase, they generate 4 power dice to my 3. They cast Flesh to Stone on the Tree Man this time, and I fail to dispel it. So there's no shooting because they can't really shoot anything. In close combat, this is the epic battle here. This keeps on going thanks to the Crown of Command. They ended up winning by 1 here, and I broke. I finally broke, and I was run down. So my general got slaughtered along with his last troll there. The lone survivor is a fanatic. You believe it? So, anyways, the Wood Elf successfully defended Athel Loren. The Wood Elf player played a fantastic game. I guess in hindsight, I never really did recover from turn number 2 there, where everything just kind of blew up my face or died or went wrong. So, but that's going to happen with Orcs and Goblins and Warhammer in general when you're dealing with dice rolls, right? So, I guess that's 0 for 2 for me for my battle reports on YouTube. Not doing so good here, but my opponent was gracious enough to grant me a rematch, so we'll see here in about a week or 2. We're going to do a rematch, and they're going to be fighting me in the Badlands, so I'll be able to get some terrain benefits and that kind of stuff. Hope you guys like this battle report. We're going to be doing more and more as we go along, and if you guys want to see any special battle reports, just drop me a post, and I'll see what I can do. Okay, guys, thanks for watching.